Hello and welcome to the...
Alex, just turn to your left, buddy. It's camera one.
Ah, that one, okay. So hello and welcome to the 100% totally legit news show with Alex Venthem, with your host, Alex Venthem. Today we have a lot of news for you and a lot of great stories to come up. So let's kick off today's show with the joke of the day. What do you call a penguin with no eyes?
No idea. What do you call a penguin with no eyes?
A penguin. So anyway, let's move on to our top story of the day. So I'm going to pass you over to our news correspondent, Alex Venthem. So our top story today. A man, Michael Goodman, was arrested for literally everything. His crimes include waking up, breathing, having breakfast, brushing his teeth, and walking down a hill too fast, like this one, having a shower, getting on public transport, not getting on public transport, homicide, saying hi to a colleague, leaving the house unsupervised, going to the toilet, arriving at work too early, leaving work too late, leaving the house supervised, changing of clothes, sweating, setting small kids on fire, putting the milk in first, putting on even socks. Unfortunately, that proved to be the last straw for the authorities, who chose to give Michael a 2,000-year sentence, with talk of it being increased. And that's it for our top news. Back to you in the studio, Alex. Thank you for that, Alex. Right, let's move on to our next segment of the day, what we call Photo of the Day. We haven't actually seen the photo of the day yet. It was chosen by our executive producer, Al Venthem, and it's going to appear on screen now. In 3, 2, 1, here it is.
Well. Alex, let's get the show moving.
Anyway, moving on from that, let's go and talk to our field correspondent, Alex Venthem, to give us the local community news. So, a local community story near us is that a group of youths have opened up their own news company. Even if they're not as good, don't make as much money, don't get as much views, aren't as successful, and are just generally a less professional company than us. You know, if it makes them happy, then fair enough. And in a slightly downer note, a group of young people who were running their own news company have committed suicide, sadly. So we wish our condolences to all of those people and their families. Thank you for that, Alec. I think it's time for our political segment of the show, where we are going to be talking to our political correspondent, Alexis Venthem, about a current crisis going on in our country today. So today, the Conservatives... Cheers for that, Alexis. Right, so it is that time of the show. The time of the show you've all been waiting for. No, not the end, but all your votes have been counted, and we can now reveal the winner and the Norfolk representative in the National Happiest Person of the Year in the UK. So, let's go and see what he had to say.
This is DRAVEN, a 20-year-old from a small town in the heart of Norfolk. In his spare time, he likes to be on his own, listening to his favourite type of music by the Slipknot, whatever that means, and dissecting animals to taste their blood. He used to live with a flatmate, who is currently missing, but he is all round a nice guy.
So, I am stood here on the hottest day of the year with our Norfolk nomination for Happiest Person of the Year UK, DRAVEN Edge. So how do you feel to be Norfolk's nomination for the happiest person in the country? So how do you feel about the attention that this has brought you? Have you got anything to say to the other competitors in a competition that you won by a landslide? Is there anything else you'd like to add? Well, that's the end of the interview. Back to you in the studio. Maybe next year. Right, now it's time for the sports news. What have you got for us, Alejandro?
Alright, so as you can see, the community is proper thriving at it. You know, there's so many people in that football pitch and of course, as you can tell by the padlock on the door, you know, as you can tell by the fact I'm the only person stood here, you know, so is so inviting to the people in Norfolk and the people to wherever you're watching this from, whether that be Suffolk or USA, you know, somewhere like that. You know, just communities proper thriving is inviting for all these people. And in other sports news, there's a Charlton player being linked with Luton Town. You know, you're just ruining your career if you move to Luton. They've got about 10 fans, you know, they get about minus 60k a week. If you play for Luton, you're pretty much out of a job in 6 months. So, you know, it's just if you were to move to Luton from Charlton, it'd be a terrible decision, but that's not on me, you know. So that wraps up the sports news.
Interesting. Anyway, time for the weather in your area. So before we get started on the weather, I would just like to give an honourable mention to Venthem. It's his first day on the job. He's been sort of coveted by all sorts of news companies and photography companies for his perfect clarity on his photos and videos. So yeah, just like to give him an honourable mention. So as we get into Sunday, you can see it. It's out of focus. No, I can see it. I'm looking at it right now. I'm not in focus. Do your job! So, moving into the morning and the afternoon, it's going to be quite hot because of the high pressure that is coming through the region, particularly down south. As the pressure moves south and you get slightly lower pressure up north, there will be chances of rain down south near Venthem because of the pressure. Particularly going into Monday and Tuesday as the pressure continues to move south, more into Suffolk and Essex. So we'll get sort of colder temperatures on sort of Tuesday, Wednesday, but then the pressure will start to come back up, or high pressure will come down from Scotland sort of area because of the high pressure. So the temperature will heat up towards the end of the week. Again, particularly down near sort of Thetford and moving down into the lower Stoff near Suffolk because of the high pressure. It'll also be spots of rain sort of all over the region, depending on where the pressure is highest. And it also will heat up towards the weekend, so you can all go on your massive escapades to Hunstanton if you would like to, because of the high pressure that will be coming in Tuesday and Wednesday. So, and towards the end of the week in particular as well. So, moving on sort of towards the end of the week, Saturday or Sunday, it'll be lovely temperatures because of all the pressure, but there will also be spots of rain and perhaps chances of thunderstorms because of the heat that we've had. Back to the studio. So let's end the show with the way we started it, with our second joke of the day. What do you call an Indian comedian? And so that's the end of the show. We hope you join us tomorrow for some more great news.
No.